A Monday in Philadelphia after a spark of a Sunday. It's Doug Peterson's own word. We needed somebody to give us a spark. Jalen Hurts provided that in a huge, shocking win over the New Orleans Saints to end their 9-game winning streak. And next up for the Birds, it'll be another pair of birds. The Cardinals Sunday in the desert. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Let's get straight to Doug Peterson. He was asked this question Monday morning on Sports Radio 94 WIP just hours after Hurts saved the Eagles' season.
Will he start Sunday in Arizona?
You know, I'm going to take a look at yesterday. I'm going to look at a lot of different things before I make that determination this week.
Now, saving the season is a relative term, but he did certainly turn the tide. What turned the tide for Doug Peterson after being so non-committal? 3 hours after making the statement you just heard, he said this.
After going through the film and really looking back even to last week and the preparation and everything, I'm gonna continue with Jalen this week as the starter. There's no issue with Carson and I look at maybe what I do or how I call the game. Maybe I can approach it a little bit differently, moving forward that way. Listen, teams have a lot of film on your starter. They have ways to prepare for your starter, and they can take away certain things, and we've got to be able to compensate for that. But there's been no issue between us.
So if you're watching SportsCenter yesterday and you saw this wouldn't qualify as breaking news. I think it would qualify as obvious news. So Jay, why did Doug Peterson essentially have to even go out there a second time? Why do you think, after hearing both of those comments, he just couldn't have saved us all the trouble and just said it Monday morning, since we all knew it was a fait accompli? We all knew it was going to be Jalen
because he had to watch the tape, Zubin. He had to watch the tape to make the ultimate decision about how Jalen Hurts played. Look, we all knew it was obvious, and I know Key's going to sit up here and say the coaches doesn't have to give you anything. He doesn't need to say anything. Then why did he give us something 3 hours after he just said he didn't make a decision? Like, if you're going to say it's due to scheming, then why not wait until Wednesday or Thursday to make those comments? It's my only thing about saying it feels like Doug Peterson, and he said it during that, because I listened to the entire transcript. He said, I was thinking of Carson. It still feels like Doug Peterson is thinking about, how do I need to properly articulate what is going to happen with this team so I don't lose Carson Wentz, instead of going in the other direction, which is, how do I give Jalen Hurts as much confidence as possible moving forward after a significant win? Now, you don't have to break down Carson or belittle Carson in order to raise Jalen Hurts up. You can do both at the same time. I just don't understand why you wait 2.5 hours and then all of a sudden you come to an ultimate conclusion that, hey, yeah, by the way, Jalen Hurts is our starter, after going back and reviewing the tape and understanding how significant of a game he had against the number one defense in the NFL.
Key, are you speechless for the first time in your life?
I don't know if you've been in the studio too long by yourself, though, Zubin, with that comment. But anyway, no, I was waiting for you to re-tee me back. I thought you were going to re-tee me back up. But anyway, this is what I would say. You're a coach. You want to assess what goes on. I understand we saw it from the television standpoint. They saw it from the sidelines. The teammates rallied around it. But from a coaching standpoint, and your assistants and all of them, you guys got to get back in. You got to look at the film. You got to see the things that you did right, the things that you did wrong, your opponent, watch a little clip on the opponent, see what makes the most sense, and just take your time doing it. There's no rush to do it. You're off today. What's the rush? Tuesday is your off day. So, okay, I named him the starter 3 hours later. Whippy, big deal. I could have did it immediately after the game, or I could do it Wednesday morning doing my presser before practice. It doesn't matter. It only matters to people that's so fixated on what's going to happen. Oh my God, he's got to give him his due. He's got to extend an olive branch to him. Don't worry about fracturing Carson Wentz. It's not fracturing Carson Wentz. It's the respect of trying to figure out how to make sure that the quarterback room stays a certain way, just in case you have to go back to Carson Wentz. And I think that's what Coach was doing there, and I have no problem with it at all. We all knew that Jalen Hurts was going to eventually become the starter for the second week in a row. I guess not that big of a deal.
I guess, Key, though, if you from a football insider expert perspective, you watching that game, I know that you're not a coach, but you watching that game, did you conclude after that game that Jalen Hurts was not significant in that game? Was there any doubt in your mind that you thought, hey, after this game, I may have to go back to Carson Wentz?
Nothing at all suggested that, Jay, but I also understand how coaches do things. If you would have asked me immediately after the game, what would have happened? I could have got the manual. I would have turned to page 250 and said, don't answer this question. Wait 24 hours, cool down period, before I answer question about quarterback starting. No one does that. They don't do it. Think about it. Sean Payton waited forever to make a decision on Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. That's just what they do. That's just what they do. Period.
I don't know. I never heard Sean Payton talk about after Taysom Hill won a game saying, hey, well, still a question about Jameis Winston. Will he play? Like, it didn't go back and forth. All I'm saying, it feels like this is one of those scenarios where if you're Jalen Hurts...
But that question wasn't raised to Sean after Taysom Hill's first victory. No one came at him and said, is it Jameis Winston? Because Jameis Winston is not making $130 million and $107 million of guaranteed money.
I understand.
So that question never was posed to Sean.
It just feels like it's one of those scenarios for Jalen Hurts that he has to actually go take this thing that Doug Peterson doesn't want to give it to him, that he needs to go take it, which he had a mentality you have to do anyway. There's no surprise. But it just feels like he has to go against not only the teams he's playing against per weekend, but he also has to go against a head coach who doesn't necessarily believe that he has what it takes to energize a team and sustain that.
See, I wouldn't say that, though. I don't think that that's the case with Doug Peterson at all. I really don't. I think Doug Peterson wants to play Jalen Hurts because he knows he gives him the best chance to win. He's just doing it the way that he was taught how to do it as a head coach, coming under Andy Reid's and those type of guys. That's how I see it.
I hear you.
Drafted in round 2 for the moment, QB1. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. On the way, how the Browns and Ravens combined yesterday to do something the NFL hasn't seen in 98 years. That's next on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Now I would just like to introduce y'all to the man, the myth, the legend.
Last night was supposed to mark the arrival of the Browns. Instead, it ended up marking the re-arrival of the Ravens. Baltimore, remember, at this time last year had the erstwhile MVP, was running away to the best record in the NFL, and they bested the Browns last night in a Monday Night Football instant classic, and that's where we're going to begin with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line will head to Cleveland in 40 minutes, boots on the ground, to see what the story is there this morning after they were setting up for such a great, momentous night, trying to get to that elusive 10-win mark for the first time since 2007, creep closer to ending the NFL's longest playoff drought. But this morning, Key, I want to quickly start, even though there is so much talk about the Browns, I want to start with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson coming out of the locker room and reminding us, cramp or no cramp, crimping the Browns style, that he is a game changer for the ages.
I started cramping on the field. Like, the two passes I throw, like right before those two passes I throw to Willie and Mark, the overthrows, I was cramping my throwing arm. And I'm telling the coach, I'm like, man, I need to get some salt in my system real quick. And, we punt the ball. I'm on the sideline. Titans end up catching the pick on the interception. We go down to score. And right after that, I get the ball to JK, and my legs just start cramping. And I'm like, bro, like, I need something now, like, to help me get better real quick, because this is a crucial game right here. Both teams be playing their hearts out. And we went to the back.
You didn't have to use the bathroom or anything in the back, right? There was a lot of talk on social media that you were kind of like jogging, like you had to use the bathroom or something.
No, I was cramping. I ain't putting Paul Pierce. I didn't put Paul Pierce. I was cramping.
Key, no wheelchair. We saw it last night. Got out there and returned under his own power. Key, I'm sure you'd love that, considering that wheelchair moment, of course, came against your Lakers. But what did you make of that amazing moment? The Ravens right back in the thick of the playoff chase. They're in the 8th spot on the outside looking in, but with the momentum they have and an easy opponent on the way Sunday, perhaps a chance for a little momentum.
I think it's great. Whenever you see a guy like this do the things that he's capable of doing, going in, needing to get what he needed to get back out on the field. You know, when you start cramping, you know, there's all sorts of different concoctions and remedies that people do, whether it's pickle juice, whether it's Pedialyte, all sorts of things. So he goes in the locker room, he gets that. He knows that his team desperately